Welcome back to another episode of Pursuit of Poly, our podcast. I am Melia.
I'm Sammy.
And tonight we have a very, very special guest, one that is very near and dear to our hearts. And we'll tell you why. When Sammy and I 5 years ago really started our journey into like Googling polyamory and trying to just like figure out what it meant that we were in a relationship with more than two people, one of the first influencers and people in the community that we stumbled on was Mr. Alex Porta. So let's give a big fucking woot woot to Alex, our special guest. This feels like such a full circle moment because
it really does.
Seeing your content and kind of like being able to connect with you before you even knew who we were or we even had a poly platform. We were following you from our personal pages and shit. So it's just really cool. So thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. This is exciting. I've been excited about this when y'all call. I'm like, definitely. Why not? Y'all are making some moves. Let me get on this, jump on this with y'all. Have some production, have some content with you guys. It's amazing. I don't dance, so I can do this. This is I can do. This right here I can do.
Well, don't worry, because we got some moves for you. We're going to do a TikTok at some point. We're going to get
we're going to collab at some point.
Whenever we actually get in person.
I am off key. I'm gonna let you know. I have two right foots, left foots, whatever it is. That's what I have.
Amazing. Well, look, like you're with the right fucking crowd because we be teaching people for our shit.
You have a couple drinks, loosen up really good.
You're working with the masters. We got you. We the gurus. You know. No. So yeah, let's get at it. Like first thing I gotta know, and I really want the audience, like our audience, to be able to hear is kind of like your version of your poly story. Like, and I'm excited for you to tell this to me like first person. But like, tell me, how this all fucking happened for you. Like, bro, rewind the clock. What was the situation and how did you realize it? And just give us your story.
Oh man, my story is like the most horrible poly story.
Horrible poly story.
Not at all.
Right.
I ain't gonna start it off like that. Of course, mine was me and Sean have been married for 17 years. We weren't at the best of place at that moment. And then of course, selfish move, instead of handling and fixing my relationship at that space, I was very mature and I just decided just to pull away and, entertain myself. Which is, of course, what I did. That's how I met Chantel. Of course, I got caught. And then when Shalon had asked me, I wasn't going to lie to her anymore. I kept the secret, didn't lie. She just never asked. So I got caught. No.
I understand.
Hey, it's all.
I told them, no. So it was crazy. Of course, it was chaotic at that moment because I got caught cheating, of course. But Shalon was so open, and we had always spoke about opening our relationship jokingly, never seriously. And then at that point, she just looked there and was like, you know what? I'm with this. Let me meet her, because I had nothing negative to say to her, nor did I say nothing negative to Chantel about Shalon. I knew I was a shit ass nigga at that moment. I knew what I was doing. I knew I wasn't shit. So I never had nothing bad to say. And when they met, it was like they seen what I seen in them from each other. So their chemistry, like just off the rip. The first night we linked up, we jumped like from one bar to another bar, ended up going out of town to gamble with each other, came back like at 8 a.m. We ran it back the next night. It was,
I love that.
And then from that point, of course, it was still, me and Shalon still had our attention because of the situation, but she thought Chantel was so dope. They started hanging out by themselves, like, gaining that relationship. So I would come home from work and then Chantel would be in the living room. I swear to God, I think that moment for me was like the craziest. I'm like, oh shit, this is real. Like,
right.
Oh man, like you hear my living room because
that
she called you.
And then I'm thinking that probably at the beginning, you probably didn't even think that was like something that could be possible, right? Like after, it kind of came out and you like, told them about each other, or you kind of like came clean about it. Were you even thinking, was that even a thought in your mind? Like, oh, well, maybe in the future, like all of us could be,
No, never.
Right.
When I was the process, let me go ahead and be open. This is the first time I'm getting like really interviewing people that I saw.
Yes.
I'll be open as fuck. I'll be open as fuck. I like to cut them with no good. But so at that moment, right, like when I was cheating, I was just doing it just in that process. Didn't think where it was gonna go. I didn't like, we would have our off and on because of course I was trying to push her away. Chantel spoke about that in one of our recent interviews, that she knew I was trying to end it, even though I loved her. Because when I was cheating, I'm not gonna sit here and be like she was just a side piece. No, I loved this woman. Right. I had so many things invested in her just as much as I still love Shalon. I still loved her too. We were just not in a good place. So of course, when me and Shalon started trying to mend things, I knew I had to push Chantel away, but it was hard. It was hard to push someone that wasn't doing nothing wrong, because I was in the wrong, but to push her away. So when it came full circle and we went that chaotic moment, and then to walk in that living room, that first time I walked in the living room, I would have never thought that, okay, the woman that I was secretly seeing just got invited by my wife to come to our household, and we watching fucking a drama episode of reality TV, like, we eating dinner and shit. Like, this is crazy.
You're like, am I watching TV or am I living TV? Right. Which one is it? That's fire.
Yo, exactly. No, so it was nuts at that moment. It was surreal. Like, this is crazy. Like, I cannot believe this. And to know how they got along so well, like, it was surreal. Like, I still don't. Certain times I'll be like this in disbelief. Like, this is impossible. This should have never happened like this. But it was so cool that they're just really genuine people. They've always been. That's what attracted me to them. They were just genuine people, open to anything, and they never wanted to go off the rip from jump to judge. So that's what gave the opportunity, because they didn't want to judge each other. Of course, they judged the shit out of me. I think I was every piece of shit.
It's like a bonding moment for them at that
Till this day.
Fucking bitch.
Yeah. Like, we can bond over this, actually. Like, yeah.
It's a real common ground. Real common ground to fall on.
And it was so mature. It was so crazy to have so many grown, mature moments with them through that process. But that's how our journey started. But when we took full recognition of it, we were up one night. We used to watch random stuff, because we were all just be in the bed chilling, just watch random. And it was like a show on Showtime that was called Polyamory or Poly something. It was, one man, two women doing this, a woman with two men. I'm like, oh shit, that's what we're doing. We're doing that. So the next day I started Googling. I'm like,
wow.
The same shit. Then you Google it and you're like, oh, okay, this is a thing.
And that's kind of where our story of knowing and identifying what we were doing came on to play. But that was like the beginning. Like I said, it wasn't the best story, but it still played out to be something wonderful, because we have a family now. We're a family of 7. So yeah, that's an amazing thing.
Congratulations.
Yeah, for sure. That's why people can't judge other people's journey, because it happens different for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Whether like somebody makes a mistake and you fall into something beautiful, it doesn't matter. It's like your journey and nobody else can judge that.
Well, I think the main factor, like the parallel line that runs between all of the things, is that polyamory is this engine for personal growth. So it's like at the end of the day, no matter how you fall into it, whichever way you get there, it's going to force you to grow and to evolve and to acknowledge parts of yourself that you haven't before. So like, it's still a beautiful story to me. I think it's fire.
Me too, for sure.
And the realistic part is like, you can't hold yourself to judge yourself that way, because what is it? Probably 90% of the monogamous couples that are out there, right? They are cheating and they're just pretending like it's not happening.
Right.
And so just to even be able to say like, yo, that's such a human thing. And that's part of the beauty of embracing the fact that different connections can become different shit. You might not just have one person you're going to fall in love with forever. So I think it's dope.
Yeah. And the beautiful thing about it, right? Because of course, our story, we had so many different transitions. When we first started, we were a triad. We were all connected together. Since they rushed their relationship, because at the end of the day, let's call it for what it is. They really came into play behind me on this. They loved me both and was like, hey, you know what? We're on common ground. There was nothing really negative at the end of the day. So there's not really tension amongst them. Because like I said, I didn't really badmouth anybody. So they took it from, okay, let's just maneuver in this fashion. They just found themselves in a relationship without actually going through a process of knowing each other. Like, what do you like? What do you whatever? It was just let's just jump in this thing because of him. And of course, it caused tension. I don't know you at the end of the day, really. Right. So of course, our situation changed from a triad to, okay, let's fall back. Let's see and organically fall where our relationship will, but we know we'll still be hinged to him. And that's how we kind of ended up in our poly V situation to where now their relationship is way more better because the expectation of girlfriend got taken down. And it's like, okay, now I know you from this perspective. I see you more as a sister. Now, you know what I mean? And we could just mend and move in this and coordinate maneuver in this fashion as a family. So it does. When people come into poly, we have to remember there are going to be moments of alteration. So keep that open conversation, discussion with your partners to find how y'all want to flow, how things are going to flow well for y'all. Because you want to keep the relationship healthy, not chaotic. Because at the beginning, it was chaos. It was, God, man, I could put three ice cubes in one cup. The other one get 4. Why she get 4? Why did she get 4? You like her more? I'm like, what? Wait a minute. I
Yeah.
remember there was one argument, right? Come and keep everything funky. I feel comfortable.
Please, yes, good, yes. It's a safe space.
Safe space.
But I remember one night, this was the beginning. I was sleeping, and then I had laid. You know, I'm a roller, so I'm in the middle too, so I rolled over to one side.
Yeah, they put your ass in the
woke up
middle.
to
You
the
were high as
morning.
fuck.
I woke up in the morning to you stayed over there 2 hours longer.
Uh,
I said, what?
ooh.
I seen you. I was up. I woke up in the middle of the night and I watched, and I was up.
Oh,
How
shit.
am I supposed to know?
Okay.
How am I supposed to know? How am I supposed to know?
How am I supposed to know? I'm fucking sleeping. I am dead asleep. I don't even know where I'm at. I'm not even in a dream with y'all.
What I'm doing?
Remember, I watched you sleep, bitch.
I rolled
You
around
gotta
and
check
turned
it
like,
out.
ooh.
I'm always watching, motherfucker. I'm always watching.
Now you got 4 sets of eyes watching you though. It's not even just 2 sets. It's 4 sets of eyes, or it's 4 eyes.
Oh, that's intense. That is intense.
But yeah, I mean that's the things that we go right because we had to relearn, we had to unlearn and relearn. So it was just a driven transition. It was just something new to us. So of course, now everybody can sleep anywhere, and it's just like, man, whatever. Now you're pushed away, to be honest. Like, get off me.
Yeah, right. I'm hot. Honestly, like the bed when I got it to myself.
I mean, I feel like most people that are probably going to be on that poly journey, especially at the beginning, are going to all go through that. Like even us, like at the beginning, we went through, moments of jealousy. For me, like seeing her, like be with somebody like really romantically for the first time, I was like, damn, this feels a little different. And vice versa, her, see, like the shit that you're talking about, just staying in bed, this little shit, like, oh, she was on your lap and that was like super intimate and more romantic, and you haven't done that in a couple days with me. And I'm like, oh shit, damn, I didn't even think about this. Like, oh yeah, like, do I need to start making a list of what I'm doing for each girl? Like, what the hell?
You gotta balance this shit out. You gotta do double the work now. You wanted double the play. Here's double the work.
Facts.
I'm with it.
Facts. Look. Know what you're signing up for.
Exactly.
Right, let's give these people the
Gentlemen, know what you're doing, because this is like double the fun, double the trouble, okay?
That's what we're here to do, is we're here to give the people the knowledge they need to succeed. You know what I'm saying? Because we didn't necessarily all start off succeeding. And I think it's dope that you shared already, like kind of the type of polyamory. That was my next question, that you practice.
Yeah.
So it sounds like it started out as a triad and then it turned into a V, and that's really dope.
I got a piggyback question off of that. So now you guys are a V. Are you all open into like seeking other partners, or is it like closed and the V is like where it's staying at? Because I know you guys have a family too, and like you have children
Kids,
as well,
yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the main reasons, right? Because it's hard, right? We try to identify with something within poly. What are we? Are we V's? Are we W's? Are we, what's your Q?
Right.
This and that. So I love to always just speak and put in the format that we do practice non-monogamy. That's what it is at the end of the day, because they are okay with just being us right now because we are a family. But like I said, be open to alterations. Yeah. I know these are my life partners. These are people that I'm going to do life with. I can't tell you what the next year is going to look like. Hell, I may come up short on something, or there may be something in a situation to where somebody might want to explore something within themselves, and I have to be supportive. So I got to take a back seat and be in that supportive role now. So, and for me to sit here and say we're just closed and we're a poly V will be like, and then next year you see us and we're a whole fucking quad.
Right.
I am non-monogamous.
Right, that's real.
I am non-monogamous, and we just leave it at that. But yeah, I think that's it at the end of the day. But no, of course, right now we are good. We're a lot right now. We're about to be grandparents. We're about to be
congratulations! Damn, congrats! That's awesome.
Yo,
I'm still processing this. I'm too young to be a grandfather.
I've never. You're like
look good for a grandpa.
Like a Benjamin Button fucking ass looking grandpa. That's what you is, because
I've always been like that.
You're reverse aging, bro. Like you look younger now. It's crazy.
Exactly. I got that. But yeah, so all those play roles too. Our children play roles in our dynamic, because we have to be involved in their lives and doing that. And also I'm gonna go ahead and share this news, because this news I'm gonna go ahead and share it on this podcast. Because I love y'all, so I'm gonna go ahead and share the news. I know a lot of people have been asking who has been that other child that because we had only 2 children and plus Sarai, the 3rd child, and the 4th child came out of nowhere. Of course, me and Shalom, we had a long history. So we did have another child when we were younger, but we weren't in the position of, we were not in the best of positions in life at that moment. So of course, we took the route of adoption, and then we picked a family, still kept the communication there. And we did that at such a young age, and we did not see. We had been looking for about the last 15 years. Of course, my children were wherever. So when my children turned 16, they started looking for it too. We knew the children in New York, we just didn't know where.
Wow.
So earlier this year, that's why she appeared on the page and appeared on everything, because we found each other.
That is so.
And her family
that's
came
amazing,
back.
man. That's congratulations on that. That is beautiful for real.
Yeah, it's been amazing to rekindle that relationship, and she came in still with open arms, because we still had everything about her when she was young, and she had everything from our information on our end, and that's what made it easier for her to come try to find us. Of course, all the interviews and everything, so it was really cool to rekindle. And that's why we ain't really been posting nothing. We've been playing in the background, just building all our relationships with our children.
Dude, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
And that's so important, so much more important than anything else.
100%.
And I think that you guys are going to be so inspiring to so many people. Like, that's so beautiful. And I'm so grateful that you shared it with us. That's
very grateful. Wow.
Absolutely amazing.
I haven't talked about it at all in the public. I haven't said nothing about it.
I'm glad you feel comfortable to share it with us.
Yeah,
I really
absolutely.
do.
And I mean, I think it's so cool that you guys, made such a tough decision in that moment, and it felt like it was for the best, but there was probably a lot of times where you questioned that, I would guess, like as time went on, you're just like, dang, was it for the best? Wasn't it? I feel like I do that all the time with small decisions. So to be able to come back to this moment and have a little bit of relief to know, like, yes, it was the best, and it ended up to be even more beautiful than we could have ever thought, like, wow.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Wow.
Yeah,
inspiring.
Because that was something that was haunting us for the longest, but yeah, it's been beautiful.
So that kind of leads me to like my next question, as far as like, how has it been navigating, this journey, having children, and like those conversations? Like, have you had the conversations with the children? I'm sure as they get older, they might start having questions, themselves. So how does that work? And like, what advice would you like give to, people that are in these types of dynamics that have children, or, that are having trouble like bringing it to them?
Polyamorous parents, what's it like?
Fuck them kids. Nah, I'm playing. No.
Do what you want.
It's super real though.
That's how we are.
We've always been very transparent with our children. We were young parents. I became a parent at the age of 15. So, I already knew I took a lot of responsibility, and I was able and capable to handle those things at that age. Now, mind y'all, there was still a lot I had to learn, but I understood the pressure I was able to handle. So when my kids were growing up, I made sure to keep that open communication with them and be transparent with them about everything. So when Chantel first came around, they were, of course, what's going on? So of course we had to sit them down and kind of say, hey, we're doing a little alteration to our relationship. This person's going to be kind of in a relationship with me, and because again, we were a triad at the beginning, with me and your mother. And she's going to be just around the house, and we're going to see where this develops and where this goes. And of course, when they asked me, what is she going to be in our lives? I had to tell them straight up, I can't tell you that. And I had to tell her too, I can't tell them what you're going to be too. You have to show up in the ways that, you believe are right, and they'll place you and see you what they're going to see you as. And she showed up, she showed up in every way for them. And now, 7 years later, that's stepmom, that's bonus mom at the end of the day. But what made that great was that they were at an older age. Now with Soraya being so young, she's not even 2 yet. She recognizes that she has dad, and she has lon mom, and she has mommy, so she just, of course, later in life, we'll probably have to explain to her. I doubt it, because I think Polly's going to be everywhere by the time she grows up.
That's true.
But, at the right age, I would always sit there and say, we got to remember, we were able to take the information that was needed. Now, where do you want this information to come from? Do you want it to come from you, Google, or someone from school? Right. If you know you live a polyamorous lifestyle or non-monogamous lifestyle, take the moment to explain to your child yourself where they get the correct information. Do you feel they're old enough to get the right information, or you could put it to them or articulate it, how to put the information to them? Do it yourself. Don't rely on the next, because the next could put the next, you don't know what they're going to say. Right. They could put anything in that mind, and that's because, just alter their mind, look at things in a negative way, feel judged, feel it's wrong. It's better for us to do it as adults and as a parent, so they get the right information. They can be confident, understanding when they explain to anybody else, hey, this is my family. I understand we're different. I understand you may not understand, but that's not for you to understand. Me and my family have love, peace, and greatness at the home. That's it.
Amen. Amen. Yo, I love that. And I think it is powerful, because there are so many parents that are already parents first and that are finding polyamory second, you know? And so having this type of information is so necessary. It's such a tool for other people to feel empowered to share with their kids, you know,
Right.
because there's nothing to be ashamed of. Like, kids are, like you said, kids are going to take what they need to take. You know, if you're explaining that you're in love and there's love present and this person is bonus mom and bonus dad, or, you know, whatever you want to say, I think just being honest and giving the information first. Wow.
Yeah.
Such good advice. So my next question for you, Alex, is what do you think has been like, other than being, you know, a parent and having to divvy up time and resources and energy and also try to create, you know, lasting foundations for new relationship, what's been the most difficult thing about your polyamorous journey? Like, what has kept you up at night or has like caused you more stress? And, you know, what is that thing that you can share with us?
Finding that me time, shit. that me time is hard. But you know, it's I'm involved in so many things. You know what I mean? Not only am I got 2 women I got to provide for and do everything that I need for and be the support for. And mind you, they are there for me too in those ways too. But you know, I got my children. You know, I got 4 children. Like I said, I got my 2 oldest, and I got my other one that came back into my life that I'm rebuilding and rekindling, getting to know. And then I got my youngest daughter that I got to try to, you know, still develop and be involved in her life. And I still got the brand to develop, you know. And it's just hard to find that, hey, let me just get that me time real quick. And it could be, it's just 5 minutes. That's all I get really for myself. 5 minutes, or when I'm in the shower. You know, that's just, I think that's like the most difficult time, because when you're dealing with multiple partners and you have a family yourself and you're invested and involved, it's scheduling, and your schedule is going to be crazy, you know, at the end of the day. And sometimes we tend to forget that we're so spread thin that we got to make sure we take that time for ourselves.
Yeah.
And that's been challenging for me.
You cannot pour into other cups, right? Until you pour into, you must first pour into your own cup. Y'all know what the saying is. Because it's true. And being a dad, you know, you're like, you have put yourself in a very selfless situation, you know, for sure, giving out so much of your energies to others. And so like, what would be your like ideal 5 minutes? Like, if you could get the 5 minutes, like, what would you do with it? Do you even know?
I don't even know.
Right.
I'll be thinking about what I need to do for the next person.
Right. No. You're thinking about what to do with that 5 minutes.
Right.
5 minutes is gone.
I've been thinking about when the 5 minutes is over. Like, damn, is it over yet? No, okay.
Yeah. By the time I think of what I need to do, my 5 minutes is gonna be gone. Think what I'm gonna do with my...
Right. What did I say I was gonna do with this thing?
What?
I feel
what
that.
I think about?
Right.
No, it does get intense.
I feel that. I really feel that. I don't know. I guess, has there ever been weird, like, has there ever been a question that came from the kids that like kind of threw you off that you didn't have a good answer for in the moment? What was like the toughest thing, or was there never really that moment because you kind of gave it all to them in advance?
Since I was being transparent with them on everything, and they were able to talk to each of us, you know, individually, and make sure everybody was good. The main concern was, of course, mom. Is mom okay with all this? You know, once they seen that she was, it was perfectly fine. And then when we did our first interview on 97 here in Houston, their whole school found out. So they didn't know how the school was gonna take it, because they were like, oh man, you know, so they were kind of apprehensive around that, like, oh man, you know, okay, well, let me go to school and see what's gonna happen. Because we were the parents in the stands during the volleyball games, the baseball games. You better hit that. So everybody knew, okay, that's for mom and dad, but they didn't know who the other one was.
Right.
So,
as
soon as that gets there, you know, they go to school, they're like, okay, well, you know, was that your mom and dad on the radio? And they were like, yeah, that was my mom and dad. Everybody, I love them. I can't believe that. That's what's up. I want to be like your dad.
So cool.
That's amazing.
That is really cool.
See, kids don't give a fuck. Kids really don't care. Kids.
But what's crazy, right? It is what my daughter was telling me. She was like, we're so advanced you know, it's not like back in the days.
Yeah.
They have access to this phone. They got access to Google. They got access to so much information. And their sexuality within itself has been developing. You got asexual, you got pansexual, you got bisexual. Everything's being so open. Is we as parents, because we're kind of the older generation, we're our parents like, man, we weren't talking like that in school. Now these days in school, they talking about it. There's things I've learned from my children. I'll be like, what? What is that?
Right.
Yeah, you know, Dad, you know, she my friend, but she non-binary, all this and shit. Wait, what?
Right. They're used to that. And that's actually inspiring, because I will say the same thing as like our TikTok kind of started hitting over the last year or whatever. A lot of the younger like pre-professional dancers that were like out there that followed us as, you know, a dance image, you know, I don't know, as dance people. When they found the TikTok, like they literally didn't even chirp on it. Like I remember some of them, like we would be at class and they'd be like, yeah, we saw your TikTok. And me and Sammy would be like,
oh shit!
Like the color would just wash through my face.
People would mention it, and I would just go past it, like
I'd be like, yeah, well, so anyway.
Exactly.
And then, you know, but then like the older crowd, like when some of them had stumbled upon it, you know, it was like a whole ass paragraph text message, you know, about like, what is this, and you know, yada yada yada. So like passed way more judgment. So it was kind of that a testament to what you're saying. Like the kids are very much ready to see different styles of love and openness around them, you know.
It's more normalized now.
So what do you think is the most, like, from the uninformed point of view? What is okay, and by the way, if we run out, we'll click back into this same thing and we'll go into it again because my Zoom is straight up not upgraded. So what do you think, going back, just the broke ass Pursuit of Poly podcast? Hey,
I do the same thing too. I do the same thing too. So I'm with it.
Back from intervention.
Hopefully, if many of you watch this, we'll upgrade our fucking Zoom for next season. So let's go back to the question. So from the uninformed point of view, from somebody from the outside, what do you think is like the thing that's most confusing for people about polyamory? Not even like what's the biggest misconception, but like what do you think is the most confusing thing for people who can't capture the essence?
The main, because it kind of goes to misconception. Well, yeah, it goes kind of hand in hand with the misconception. Because the main thing would be the sex part, the sex part, not realizing that, okay, you're not just gonna do it for sexual reasons. This is like when we're looking for a woman, and we're or whatever our partner is. Sometimes, man, there's many. I'm gonna hit on two different ones because I kind of want to talk about the sex portion, that we fall in love with the idea that, you know, we're gonna get our sexual desires and pleasures and things and kinks fulfilled within that situation, when it's really like you could do that with swinging. And I love swinging, swingers, all that. It's just at the end of the day, find out your flow. If you just want your sexual needs pleased, well, then you could go down that route where you don't have to take the relationship fully in. Because when you're dealing with another individual, you can hurt this individual that's going to be fully invested into you as a couple. And if you just want the pleasures and the kinks behind it, you could hurt this person. I.e., if this person just wants to come in and just play with a couple, you could hurt this couple that's really investing themselves, trying to really close out and be a family. You know, so find out what you want with that flow, and don't take the sex out of it, and know if you're going to be invested emotionally with these individuals, regardless however the table goes. And the second portion will be when we fall in love with the idea of what poly is, understand what those responsibilities and sacrifices are going to look like for you. We don't take the time to sit there and say, look, my life is about to alter in this fashion. I'm talking about individually. So those responsibilities look like, at the end of the day, I'm going to have to gain control of my own emotions and understand that I'm going to relearn my partner. What does that sacrifice look like? My partner's going to have to sacrifice some time to get to know this individual that's coming in. So you're going to make some different alterations within our lifestyle. Everything's not going to just flow equally. So we have to get out of our mind that everything's going to be together. Hey, you know what we're going to do? We're going to pour lemonade together. We're going to have dinner together. We're going to go to the movies together. And no, some of us got to fucking work. And how are individual relationships going to develop? We got to take individual ties amongst each other to regain, to sustain that bond that the couple already has, and also to establish a bond and some strength within the partner coming in. So you got to have those individual bonding moments, those quality times, those intimacy, the affection, those things that you guys can gain one-on-one as well as all together. So I think those are kind of main things at the end of the day. If you're coming in, understand how much work that's going to take outside of communication. So I can say communication in there, but outside of communication, those things are going to take a lot of focus too as well.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my gosh. So much of what you said was law. Like so many high keys just dropped. For real. And this is coming even in our, this is year 6 of our polyamorous journey. Like these are concepts that, we're just now like starting to be experts or like be able to master, you know what I'm saying? And like, that doesn't even mean master. It just means control your emotions and be able to watch your emotions happening and know where they're coming from and not direct them at your relationship or your partner or change your behaviors because of it. So it's just so good for you to share that shit. Like everyone coming into polyamory has to hear that soundbite, because there's all of the joy that you think is there and more there is there. It's true. But also all of the fucking shit that you aren't looking at and all the work that comes along with that, the equal to the peak, the valley is there as well. And you have to be able to honor both sides of it in order to be able to sustain like a relationship in polyamory. And that doesn't mean to be like, I'm not saying I don't think we're saying any of that to scare anyone away. I think it's just because you want to prevent like you said, from harming other people. I think that's the main thing, is being able to seek out what is meaningful to you in a way that isn't harming another individual in the process,
Definitely.
Okay. Well, Sammy,
I have a question for you.
Take this.
Let's go.
So, all right.
Sammy be like, after the video's over, once the video's done, Sammy will be like, you talk through like the whole video, Mel. And I'll be like, you know what? I do talk a fucking lot and it's true. But like, Sammy, whenever it's ready, like you go ahead, babe. I want you to talk. Like, please take the lead.
Alex feels comfortable.
I love it.
Please feel comfortable.
Some of these fucking podcasts and some of these other situations, I might not feel as comfortable. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna let her take the lead. That is how it happens. You know what I'm saying? Happy wife.
I'm with it.
So I'm gonna shut the hell up because my mouth has not stopped running.
I was just gonna ask more. I wanted to touch back on a little bit more of the triad stages of your relationship because I'm just curious. Did either of the ladies have experience with other women before each other? Like, did they ever have any relationships with women before?
No, neither of them have ever been. Of course, like little things like teenage stuff, like, oh, I kissed a girl and I liked it type stuff. Right. But nothing like heavily invested into a full relationship. So that was one of the main challenges, right? This was the very first time actually being in a relationship with another woman. And then now the expectation of what they thought it would be what I would do as a man. So they only knew how it was to be in a relationship with a man, each of them. They thought, okay, well, shit, I like to be touched on. So come over here and touch on me like he does.
Got you.
If we're both waiting to be touched on, ain't nobody making a move, but y'all are confused and not understand. Like, those are a lot of things they had to talk about, just of how they are and how they see relationships. They weren't studying each other, but they didn't know how to do that with another woman. So that was that was one of the main reasons too that kind of pushed the whole situation away.
Got you. Understand.
And that's another reason I say sex does not save it. Because let me tell you something, we would have some great sex. We would have some great It was amazing.
And I'm gonna be honest, on the other side, you gotta have both. Like, as much as
and women can be like, I guess any person can be. You could be bisexual and not be bi-romantic. Like, you can have a great sexual experience. You can be like, you know what, romantically as a woman, I'm not into women like that.
For sure.
That part. Yeah, and that's what we basically experienced because the sex was, man, and we would do so many things, and so it was amazing. I miss it. That's why I'm just speaking on it.
No, it doesn't even manifest it. You just gotta manifest and meditate on it.
Is that door fully closed, or could it ever happen again? As far as like y'all are having wine or having drinks, and like the kids are out of town, or the kids are doing their kid things, and you guys are just
Polypalooza, y'all went out.
Exactly.
Is there a chance that it could happen? I'm
trying to speak it into existence. I mean, like, we got one of them wild nights again, rock and roll, it just all depends. At the moment's right, because we were there one time, and it's just right now they just get along so well where they're at. They're not trying to put nothing in place with to put something that's going to put an expectation for something that could put us back in that chaos, during that chaos. So I get it. So it's just like, but still. Yeah, it's missed. But anyway, but that outside of what it was like when we would be on the couch and stuff, like when it would be all just the engagement from like doing dates, being spontaneous, buying flowers. They never did that for another woman. So it was like, I don't know what to do. I say, outside of the bedroom, everything changes on the relationship.
Yeah. That's so true.
That was a great question.
But it's very it's really cool to hear more about that side of like their relationship too, because I think for a lot of women that maybe are in a couple situation and haven't had a lot of experience with other women, this is definitely a way that people like to kind of explore, like test things out, right? And that isn't so much to say that they're exploring polyamory, but just exploring their sexuality within, their relationships as it already stands. So, it's cool to see how like their friendship and like the other sides of their relationship, were stronger than just like the sex, or like them like wanting to hook up or anything like that. So that's a beautiful thing to gain.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
It's a great thing. So
how does that work?
It's been
I'll finish. I'll let you go.
Oh no, go ahead.
I was gonna say because I have another question based off everything we're talking about. So how does that work as far as like divvying out your time now when it comes to like, engaging with them sexually? Like, how does that, how do you go about like making the time, and like, how do you guys all, like, is there a way that you guys have to coordinate that? Like, oh, I'm with you on Monday and Wednesday, and I'm with you on Thursday, Friday, or you know what I'm saying? Like Sunday's my day off.
Yeah.
It's the day of the Lord.
My dick got a rest.
Right.
Treat it like Chick-fil-A. Treat it like Chick-fil-A.
Right.
We're off on Sunday.
It's coordination, of course, communication. We have our one-on-one dates. When we go on our one-on-one dates, we get them how we want. And then, of course, I'm trying to apply doing trips, like the one-on-one trips, like random, because, prices for airplane tickets were at a low cost for a period of time.
Yeah.
It would have been dope just to fly out with one of them and just go somewhere random. So it's just really whenever we're just engaged in each other, we don't really have like no scheduled dates because we kind of try to free flow behind it. But if we need to, because I would take ownership. If I've been slipping up and I haven't spent no one-on-one time, I get yelled at. I ain't gonna hold you. I go, you ain't spent no fucking time with me. Oh shit, you sure right? Yeah. Let me fix that.
You got me. I'm sorry. That's gotta be really, really hard to juggle, especially because they're not getting like their individual what am I trying to say? Because neither of them have another partner in addition, and you're the only one that has two, it's like there is more for you to do in a lot of ways. So
like more on your plate.
Yeah. What do you think that you could tell other people that are in your position? Like and I want to know, how many times have people asked you, like, what did you do? How did you do that? Because I know you said that the kids at the school were super pumped about, like, you know what I'm saying? Your dad's super dope. But like, how many times have you gotten that from another guy in public or something? Like, and what do you say when they say, like, how did you do that? Or how do I get that? You're like, you don't want
crazy?
this, bro.
You know what's crazy? A lot of people will sit there and say they'll first they'll be shocked, and when it comes from the man, it'll mainly be like, man, some man will be like, I could only do it for a night. Like I would love to be you for a night to be with two women. Right. Outside of that, majority of them are like, man, I could never. Right. I don't even want it. I don't even want it.
Like I'm struggling with my one wife. Like, you know what I'm saying?
That's enough.
Right. Yeah. Having wives. Oh, that's
yeah. To them, to most men, what's crazy is they love the sexual portion. Of course, right. To multiple individuals, and you being King Kong is that, I'm in the middle, I'm beating on my chest, whatever. They love that portion. But when you speak of death stuff, I gotta handle and maintain and fulfill for two women. Oh no, I don't want that shit. No. Right. I just want the other part.
Right. Let me take the one.
Yeah. How often are they both mad at you? Do you have those days like it's like, damn, like, all right, or one's just mad at me right now, but both, because I've had those days too where I'm like, damn, both of them are pissed at me. Oh fuck, like what? Like how do you go? What's your advice in those moments of how you get through those, man to man, as far as like, okay, now both of them are mad at me. How do I navigate this?
They're both on their periods at the same time. You're like, oh,
they're back to back. They're back to back. You know, the day, as much as they are mad at me, it's every day that starts with a T. So what's that means? It's today, tomorrow. What is it? Today, tomorrow, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Like, I've got no, they're not mad at me that much.
Well, look, it feels like it.
But no, it feels like it. It feels like it. They're not. We don't really argue as intense as we used to. We had to break that understanding of communication. Like, and the one thing I'm always gonna tell anybody when it comes to that situation, handling multiple individuals, is any kind of debates. I don't want to really call them arguments. Yeah. You know, we debate. We want to be heard. Is patience. You know, it's really patience and really trying to hear each other out. And I think if you lead the way, they will follow you as well. So what I mean by that is if you don't reach a point to where you get irritated and shut down the conversation, but really take in the information of what's going on and don't meet them on that high level, or they're on that high level and you stay mid with it, they'll follow that in suit when they realize that you're recognizing and validating their emotions and hearing their point of perspective. That's real. At that point, you can make the conversation be progressive and productive. So it's really, at the end of the day, things that we got to teach ourselves, especially when you're the hinge of the situation. You know, this is where you can lead everything to peace. Just don't leave yourself to get out of hand. You know what I mean? Which is gonna take a lot of self-control. I'm not gonna lie, because sometimes we, you know, as man, what the fuck are you? Are you serious right now? No, of course. But it's like, no, yeah, you know, but it's just really patience and really just take that in, because a lot of things that are being said, they just want a woman really just wants to be heard and be validated. At the end of the day, validate those emotions. And it's just understanding their perspective, hear them out a little bit, take that in and process it. We're not patient enough. And one thing I always tell people, within that situation, once you get your point across, because I know most men are logical and we want to sit there and still validate, don't look for instant gratification. Things can be delayed gratification too as well. That means at the end of the day, you're still going to get things understood, but it may not be that moment. Allow a few days for that process to happen, and it's going to be understood within then. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's real. I love
being able to take a pause and walk away from something is huge in any type of communication. So that's great advice.
Because at the end of the day, clarity for us to achieve clarity, it takes patience. People confuse clarity as happening instantly, and that's just control. You can't control that. That's a control problem right there. Clarity is going to take patience, and clarity is going to bring that understanding. So all we got to do is allow time to be.
Yes, I love that.
Dropping the gems, brother.
Dropping them like I had a thought that came up, and I'm wondering, like, what are your thoughts now on like a wider scale, right? Like on the community scale. When you zoom out a little bit from the Portas and your story, and back into this spot of, you know, where you've kind of taken a role as an influencer in the community and been able to give advice and share your story and your journey and what you've learned. What do you think the biggest changes so far have been? Like now, you know, first of all, tell us how long you've been in the game, you know, because we know you're kind of an OG at this point, you know, and I mean the youngest OG you've ever had, in the sense of you're an OG. So like, tell us how you think it's changed, what you've seen change about the culture and community and acceptance, etc., you know, around polyamory right now.
The thing that I seen when I first started with everything, especially when we started talking more about it, I think the only ones that were really out when we had IG pages was of course the Porter family. We were calling ourselves a Porter triad at that moment because we were a triad, and then we had the trifecta truths, the trifecta love. I seen their page, and then it was I'm with them, I'm with me. It was like only 3 pages. It was like really rarely anything. Then after a while, so many years started coming around, and then, you know, doing interviews, other people doing interviews, and we're really speaking about poly and really pushing non-monogamy out, you know, different influences coming out. It's been beautiful to grow. Now you can see it everywhere. You know what I mean? You could put poly, you're gonna see about 20 different families come up. You know, and that's the bitter taste about it, because I love to see the development, the growth within the community on that, but I hate that people rush into these relationships to develop. We're a weekend. All of a sudden it's BBJ triad, where we, you know what I mean, we're influencers, we're educators. It's like, first of all, you know what I mean, get your sailor legs. What is it? Get your water legs
Yeah,
together, because it's a lot. But yeah, like I was saying, what's been dope is seeing that everybody's growing and actually being more open. You're seeing so many more pages out there, which is making more people actually dive in and research and find the right information eventually, because you still need everybody out there still pushing out the content, right? Mm-hmm. So it is kind of bittersweet. I just hate that everybody rushes to create a page and put themselves in this place that, first of all, learn yourselves, learn your relationship before y'all even out there trying to teach others.
Yeah, that's so real.
So real. I think it was like, what, 3.5, 4, maybe almost 5 years before, 4 years? Yeah, it must have been, this is year 6.
Yeah, it was like
we waited till year 5, basically, to create a page. But we were also scared, to be, if I'm being real, like we were scared to make our page, you know, being that we have, you know, been working in the music industry and the dance industry for a long time, and we work a lot with young people, you know. It was like we were worried about what the backlash was going to be for our careers outside of, you know, influencing in the community, but that's a whole nother story. So go back to the part where you were saying that you feel like, you know, people have rushed into kind of sharing about themselves. Like, in what ways do you find that detrimental? Give us an understanding of why this is harmful to the community versus helpful in some ways.
To me, when you put yourself in that position, people are going to start asking you questions. And then all of a sudden, you're going to start answering these questions without the correct experience or knowledge. So it becomes a guessing game. It's like we're almost chasing clout for the wrong reason. I say share your story at the right time. Share your story. Share your family. Create that page and create that space. But don't put yourself in a position to where you think you're gonna be putting out the right information, doing whatever's out there necessary, and cause more damage to people. You're playing with people's relationships. You know what I mean? You're playing with people's lives at the end of the day, just because you want to be in that position. When you find yourself in that position and people are hitting you up, them people are really looking for real answers because they're really going through something. You give them the wrong thing because you haven't experienced it. You just ruined the whole family playing like that. You know, I said, you want to do it for clout, do it for clout, but make it understood that, hey, yo, we only been here together for a week. Hey, join our journey, follow our journey. Shit, hopefully we make it past year 1. But we rocking.
Exactly. Yeah, that's real.
That's the shit, but we rocking.
And then I'm rocking with you, right? Because honestly, I'm here.
Then I'm tuning in to see how long you're gonna make
car crash, right? I want to see the car crash. What the fuck? I'll be here still.
That's why I love ending the hashtags when I used to write my things. I was like, let's learn together. Because at the end of the day, I don't have this thing all the way down packed. You know what I mean? I don't. But at the end of the day, it's, let's learn together, because I don't want you to think that I know the answers to everything. I fuck up to this day. Me and Chantel are still going through a separation. You know, well, trying to mend things, but we're still like, you know, we've been off and on so much. It's just challenging. So no, it's you don't know what's gonna happen. This journey gets funky. I'm gonna just say it like that.
It will take a magnifying glass to every crack in your own identity and personality and in your relationship, you know, in the best of ways, I think, in the best of ways. And so to go back to kind of like the place in the community, you know, like, what's your thoughts on kind of, I think it would be valuable to hear your thoughts about where we stand with, you know, visibility and the fact that there is so much more visibility in general when it comes to heteronormative triads than maybe other types and forms of polyamory. You know, I think that there's kind of this like this at least what we've heard from other people in the community, you know, and like have shared their stories with us, that they've felt as though, you know, when they've tapped into the community, that they weren't always as welcomed or supported in the ways that they like wanted or were hoping for, as they like were coming into their polyamory and being like, wow, like this is me. Like the moment that you were talking about where you saw yourself in someone else and it made you feel validated, you know. There's a lot of people who are in triads or who are in those types of like MFF situations that I think are scared to like really be able to take part in the community. Like, what is your thoughts on that? You know, what do you feel about how that comes into play?
You know it's crazy because I'm supportive towards everybody. Like if you hit me up, be like, hey yo, put me on this or whatever. I'm gonna share you. I'm gonna put you in a position. First, I'm gonna study you to make sure it's authentic. But you know, at the end of the day, I'm support everything. And what's crazy, I don't really see it because I don't know it. I don't, you know, I try to keep negative people out of my circle. So if you don't support something, you're just not in my circle.
Right.
Somebody else had told me that same-sex triads and dynamics don't really get supported either in the community. Like it's a whole bunch of different things, and I don't see it. So I don't know because I've always been supportive. I don't like it. I think at the end of the day, if you're gonna poly how you're gonna poly, no matter how it looks or what it's gonna be, allowing people to do what it is. If you really support the lifestyle, lifestyle, push it out there. If you know you study these people and you know they're authentic, they've been maneuvering like that, they really stand by their word on things, put it out there no matter how it looks, because we should show at the end of the day, we are different. Every dynamic's different. The way we do non-monogamy is we love each other unconditionally in the ways that we want to. Well, our family is structured the way we need to. We don't need to sit there and do what monogamous people do. Monogamy, what do? They don't love to promote anything out there that they find not believable to themselves, that they don't agree with, you know, and they don't agree with people living a non-monogamous lifestyle. If we already have that right there that we have to fight with, why do we have to fight each other? That's dumb. You know what I mean? That's dumb. I don't care what y'all do. I don't put it on out there. Shit. You got this, that going on, but I see y'all got kids, y'all making family moves, y'all got businesses, y'all are really dedicated, and this is how you guys really live. I'm gonna put it out there. Why? Look at this shit. I don't do that. That might not be me, but it doesn't have to be me. I can still support that.
Yes. I respect that.
Yes. I mean, I think it's huge in we're already, like you said, kind of a marginalized portion of the, you know, population. So it is really important, I think, from our experience and perspective, like when people come into the community, no matter what point they're at in the community, as we were talking about your story and not passing judgment on your story, like God forbid someone comes into, you know, polyamory and they haven't been doing it right. You know, and I think that's the pressure that comes from, you know, a lot of the community in some ways, maybe intentionally or unintentionally, is that there's only this right way, you know, to do the polyamory, you know, styles of love. And if you're not following it exactly correctly right now, then you're not really welcome, or we're not going to support, you know, what you're doing, versus like, hey, you don't even know that maybe what you're doing is not exactly ethical, or is not exactly the way that, you know, we would recommend would be the less harmful for everyone based on experience. But we honor the fact that you're at your place in your journey, and we're here as a resource, you know, and I think that's kind of like the underlying vibe that you've at least given off to us always.
But let's even be real when it comes to your story, Alex. Like, you know, even as a man, or people that like go into these platforms and in your situation and knowing how your story started, you could have easily not just withheld that information, like to people on YouTube, to however you wanted to share it. You could be like, oh yeah, we just formed a triad, and like, you know, I did this and this is my life.
You could have omitted that whole part.
Exactly.
Of how the triad
happened. But the fact that you kept it authentic, even from us watching your video for the first time, like people respect and are drawn towards authenticity. It's like nobody wants to like hear some cookie cutter ass story, because like everybody that's out here living our lives, and even us, like we go through shit all the time. So like to portray it like it's something that it's not, it's like that's not organic. So to hear your story and for you to be so confident in standing in your truth and be like, yeah, this is how it started, and this is like how I feel about it. But you know, it started that this is where I'm at, and like I've been able to, you know, have this beautiful situation because of this, you know, that it takes a lot of like strength. And I feel like that is another thing to be said just about your story, that I feel like it's going to help other people like feel so confident to stand in their truth and be like, you know what, hey, I might have started poly this way, or maybe like I have guy friends that like, hey, Sammy, I've never really been able to keep it faithful, but like I feel like if I was poly, you know, this might change how I, you know, approach my relationships. And that's fucking real shit. There's nothing wrong with that at all, honestly.
No, I mean, I think the main takeaway here is that Alex, so, okay, let's go back to the moment where I was like, did anyone ever ask you how you got here? Because he gets that question all the time. They're like, how did you do that? Like, what do I have to do to get in your position? You know, like, tell me the secrets or whatever.
Like, right.
I'm like, he's not the poly like Hitch, you know what I mean? Like, he thinks he is, but he's not. And my point is that, you know, Alex, your catalyst for so much inner growth and change was coming clean in the story. You only ended up with the happy ending because you chose this particular path, you know what I'm saying? So the fact that you do that and then own it and stand in the truth should inspire other people to be able to be transparent and be honest with themselves and with everyone around them. So we fucking love you. That's what the takeaway is.
I love y'all. I appreciate it.
We're giving you some flowers. You know what I'm saying? We got to.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate. That's why I wanted to be so open on this podcast. I got so much love for y'all with everything that y'all been doing. I'm just been excited that when y'all hit me up, yeah, definitely. I knew I was gonna be this open, so I feel comfortable with y'all. So I'm like, yeah, we rocking.
Yeah, we can't wait to be rocking like with you in person, for sure, sooner than later.
And you're gonna be at Polypalooza. Unfortunately, I don't think we're gonna be able to make it, but you're going, right?
Isn't it coming up? Like
Is this Friday? This Friday.
What are you looking forward to most about that? Oh no.
Just meeting everybody from the community. I love when we do the meet and greets and we go to like different poly events. Just meeting everybody from the community, cause everybody been thinking like, what's crazy? Everybody they don't know me, so I'll be like, man, I thought you was gonna be considered a son. They be like, you really chill. I'm like, yeah, shit, what we doing?
Right. I'm like,
let's get some shots and talk some shit. I don't know. I love the engagement. I just love meeting people in person because I'm a people person. I love it.
We can tell. And we, again, you know, if you haven't already, for those of our listeners and our viewers out there watching the Pursuit of Poly podcast, you can find Alex where? Tell our people how and where they can follow you and find you so they can tap into the gems.
Everything on you can find us on YouTube, Facebook, and on IG, Porter Family, PORTAH Family. You know, so like, subscribe. I am dropping my own show too, Between the Blurred Lines. I'm actually hitting on a couple of different things. Yes, this is where I'm dropping different things to where, you know, we got to start understanding, looking at things in a different light, to where I was talking about responsibilities and sacrifice, understanding the different trees, compromise and conform, understanding things that, you know, that we got to look at things in a better light so we can actually maneuver and grow within ourselves. So I just wanted to kind of come in on things in a different angle. So yeah, it's definitely something to tap into. They're short shows. I ain't gonna lie to you, because I ain't trying to be talking all day, because I can talk.
Me and you both, man. Don't get me and you on a podcast. This shit'll be 3 days long. We won't stop.
Well, it comes out, bro. I can't wait till it comes out. We're gonna share it. We'll make sure that, you know, we keep our ear to the you know, street and wait for those videos for you to, you know, put them out so we can share them on our platforms, you know, and keep the, you know, love going out there for you too.
Yes, absolutely. We
definitely appreciate it.
Thank you for being with us, bro. You're amazing. Shout out to your family as well.
Any final thoughts that you have or anything you want to say to the people before we head out?
Final thoughts. I would sit there and say, do as much research as you can within yourself first. Understand what you want, how you see love, how you see relationships. From that point, start to understand all the umbrella of non-monogamy, not just poly, because when you and your spouse talk about it, if you're in a relationship, find out if you fall into monogamous, find out if you fall into swinger, find out if you fall into polygamy, find if you fall into polyamory, find which branch you fall under and then venture on into that. But also understand, like I spoke about, the alterations. Be open to have those discussions of alterations. Things may not go in your favor, but remember, once you open Pandora's box, you don't know what's going to happen at the end of the day. So when you go down this journey, understand it's always to stay a student. It's always to stay a student. Nobody got to sit down packed. No one can tell you how to poly, how to do non-monogamy. It's your journey, your story. It goes however you want it to be. The only thing you have to do is be consensual and ethical about it. Outside of that, fuck everybody else. Keep an open mind of that, and always have the strongest foundation within your relationship as you're going down something new. Just like that.
Yo.
Alex Porter, everybody. Final thought, man. You killed it. We had so much fun talking to you.
I'm speechless.
I know, like I had nothing to follow after that.
There ain't nothing more to say. That's a motherfucking rap, bitch. Mic drop. We love you so much.
I appreciate y'all.
Have a good night, man. We'll talk to you soon. Doing masters is